Most people who start 75 hard don't even finish it. I want to say the fail rate is something like 90%. I've completed it 4 times, and in this podcast, I'm going to give you the playbook on how to successfully finish it. And if you want to be part of the 10% who actually successfully complete it, you're going to get everything you need to know in this podcast. This program will change your life. It's also going to change the way you look. It's going to change the way you feel, but more importantly, it's going to change the way you feel about yourself. Welcome to The Breakthrough with Chris Medellin. This is going to be one of our solo episodes where we talk about my journey on 75 hard. I just completed my 4th round yesterday, and today I want to give you the entire playbook that I did in order to keep me on track and successfully complete it 4 times. If you're listening to this, it's probably because you're interested in what 75 hard is, or you want to complete it yourself. And I want this podcast to give you the push that you need and the inspiration you need to get started today. So let me start off with this. What is 75 hard? So I'm going to grab my notes real quick, and I wanted to kind of walk you through it. So first off, 75 hard isn't a fitness program. What this was for me was about having mental toughness and whether or not I can complete something that I set out to do that was extremely difficult, right? I remember there was this guy that was talking about 75 hard, and as he was walking me through all the things that it entailed, I literally walked away. I was like, I don't want anything to do with this, but I kept thinking about it over and over and over. And I realized the reason I'm triggered by that, because that sounds really hard. And it pushed me to lean into it and really understand it. So I'm going to walk you through what 75 hard is. It's for 75 days. You have to do 2 workouts a day, one being outdoors, 1 gallon of water. You have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction book. You have to hold a strict diet, no cheat meals for 75 days. There's no alcohol. And you got to take a progress picture every single day. Now, if you mess up on just one of those, you got to start the entire process all over from day 1. And that is why most people fail. But if you follow the playbook that I'm going to give you today on how I've completed it 4 times, you have the best chance of completing, and you could be part of the 10% of people who actually break through and complete 75 hard successfully. So let's talk about why. The reason that I wanted to be this last time on 75 hard is because I had been in Maui on a family trip, and I literally didn't want to take off my shirt in front of people at the pool. I was eating horribly. I was not sleeping well. When I woke up, I would scroll, Instagram, and I just felt like my whole life, my focus, the brain fog, all of that was just in a little bit of chaos. I was traveling everywhere, and I wasn't eating well. And so I just felt like I needed some discipline. So on a red eye back from Maui to Phoenix, it was like 3 a.m. and I couldn't sleep, and I was entirely uncomfortable on the plane. I just decided then I'm going to go back on 75 hard tomorrow. And that's the key thing for you. If you are looking at this podcast, or you're watching it on YouTube and you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, I'm thinking about it. Well, now it's time to do it. Don't overthink it, because if you do, you'll never get started. So the first lesson I want to just tell you in this whole podcast is don't wait. The second the idea of 75 hard enters your brain, start it now. Because if you wait, the chances of you doing it are unlikely. All right, so I'm going to give you the secret to how you're going to pass this. You're going to make a public announcement that you're going to complete 75 hard. That's the first thing I did. I went to the gym that morning when I got back from Maui, and I just got on my phone and hit record, and I said, I'm starting 75 hard today, and you're going to be getting a video of me every single day while I go through this challenge. So I'm going to apologize up front that you're going to get these cringy videos of me. But for me, that was my way of going public on something. And if I had quit in the middle of it, then what that would say to everyone who follows me and does business with me is that I'm not a man of my word. So if you want to complete this challenge, go online right now and let the world know that you're about to complete this. But that one thing will effectively change whether you complete this or not. Staying silent about it or keeping it a secret is not the way to complete it. The way to do it is hold yourself accountable publicly. And here's a bonus tip. There was a day that I was really struggling with the workouts. It was probably one day that I remember I didn't want to do it. And so what I did is I actually did a video about me not wanting to go to the gym. The amount of people that were following my journey, and I don't have a crazy amount of followers, actually supported me and really gave me inspiration to get back in a gym. So bonus tip for you, if you ever get to the point that you're about to quit, turn your camera on and talk to your audience and let them tell you why it's important that you stay on track, because you have no idea that when you do this, all the amount of people that you're going to be inspiring with your story. Document your journey. So here's a second tip that I would give you about 75 hard. I wanted to have a coach. I wanted to have somebody right by my side, but I also didn't want to pay for it because I'm pretty cheap. So what I did is I went to ChatGPT and I wrote up a prompt. I gave it like, here's what my gym looks like. Here are all the equipment that I have. Here's the workout routines that I usually been on. Here's my goals. And here's what I can do and can't do in a workout. And I just kind of did a brain dump on a sheet of paper, put it in ChatGPT, and it effectively built my workout. So every day I would just say new day, new workout, and ChatGPT would tell me what day I was on, and it would effectively give me a 45-minute weight workout that I liked. And my commitment to myself was I actually was going to do any workout it told me to do to the T. Now, I'll even tell you this, midway through, I kind of sprained my elbow. I did something with my elbow, and I just said, hey, here's what I'm feeling. I think I sprained my elbow, so adjust my workouts accordingly. And ChatGPT did that and made sure that it kept out any workouts that were going to hurt my elbow. And it was like working with a real trainer that, guess what? I didn't have to wait when they were on business hours. I can just text my trainer, and it would text me right back immediately. And so if you're looking for the prompts that I used, just DM me 75 hard on my Instagram and I'll send you the prompt that I use and you could just make it work for you. The third tip I'll give you is you got to have a routine, because if you don't have a routine and you're waking up every day and you're going to try to do your workouts when they work for you, you'll effectively just fail on this. And so what I did is I made sure that I had a routine every day. I worked out at 6:30 a.m. in the morning, and I did my nighttime brisk walk with a 30-pound vest for 45 minutes outdoors at 7:15. And here's the reason I chose those times. One, they worked for me just physically. Those are the best times for me to work out. But also, it was around my family's schedule, and the weather in Phoenix in the summer when I did it, those were the only 2 mild times that I could work out. And I did all my workouts outdoors. One was in my garage and one was on the streets. But those are the only 2 times of day that it was like bearable to actually get a workout in. Also, being on a routine helped me. There were a few times on the weekends that I would like kind of push my workout to noon. I immediately regretted it, because working out in the garage at 115 degrees was really hard on my body, and it was almost like borderline heat exhaustion. So I do not recommend you do that. But 6:30 for me worked, and 7:15. So build your routine and build your entire day around those 2 workouts. Let's jump into the actual, 75 hard tips, right? So the first one is drinking water. You got to drink a gallon of water a day. And so I've seen people walk around with like literally milk jug water bottles. And that kind of grosses me out, because I don't like to drink water out of plastic. But also, I don't think it needs to be that difficult, right? Like, how do you put that in your cup holder? Or it's just heavy and it's just bulky and I don't like it. So I got this Yeti, and I literally carry this around with me everywhere, to the point that I wanted to put an air tag, because if I forget it. So if anybody can figure out how to get an air tag on one of these, let me know, because I can't figure it out because it's not magnetic. But anyway, I use this, and it takes 5 of these for a gallon. So here's my water routine. I'll share this with you. I'd wake up in the morning and I wouldn't drink any coffee until I drank one of those. So I would drink one of those, and if I did, then my reward was drinking coffee. That's kind of my brain hack, if you will. And then when I would work out in my gym at 6:30, I would need water anyway. So I'd finish another one in my workout. And then I'd refill up the bottle and go to work. When I went to work throughout the day, I'd drink bottle number 3. And when I got home, like right around dinner time, I would drink bottle number 4 before I went on my walk. And then after my walk, I would need bottle number 5, because I was, parched from being outside walking in 100-degree weather. And that's how I got my gallon of water a day. And most days, even after that last bottle, I'd still drink like another half of one because I was just thirsty. But the effects of drinking a gallon of water a day were amazing. My skin felt better. I wasn't as bloated in my face. And if you go back and look at like videos of me from before 75 hard, you could see it. You just get bloated when you're dehydrated. And so drinking a lot of water every day makes your skin look better, but it also cleared up a ton of brain fog and just made me feel like better all the way through. So being hydrated is super important. And a gallon sounds like a lot, but if you break it down to a sizable, bottle, it'll make it a lot easier for you. The next one is going to be reading every day. So I'm not a reader. And in fact, reading is really hard. It takes like a lot of focus for me. It literally takes me 20 minutes to read 10 pages. But check this out. I ended up reading all these books while I was on 75 hard this last time. And some of these books were life-changing. Dan Martell's Buy Back Your Time, amazing book. Let Them, amazing book. Traction, all of these books were great. If you want my list on the books that I read, just DM me the word books on my Instagram and I'll send you my complete list of everything I've read while on 75 hard. But I'm not a reader. And I'll tell you, next to the fitness and feeling good about myself, feeding my brain was everything. I learned things about myself that I didn't know that, even existed through reading. And so I think it became a really good opportunity for me to spend time alone and feed my brain. So I highly encourage you doing the same, but you cannot use an audiobook. You cannot use a Kindle. You cannot use an iPad. It's old school reading. Just read a book, 10 pages. And if you think 10 pages over 75 days, that's 750 pages. That's like 4 to 5 books, depending on how big your books are. It's a really good way to get smarter and learn something that you possibly wouldn't have learned otherwise. Okay, so let's talk about diet, because you have to maintain a strict diet while you're on 75 hard. And that's a tough thing to do because there are no cheat days and there's no alcohol as well. So you really have to change your lifestyle while being on this program. And so for me, what I did is I counted my macros. Now, I'm no dietitian, so, follow this advice at your own risk. But what I did is I built out a whole program on ChatGPT with understanding how my macros worked. And if you're not familiar with macros, it's understanding how many calories you're going to intake a day. Of those calories, how much are protein, how much are carbs, and how much are fat. And so then every time I ate, I took a picture, or I took a picture of the label of what I was eating, or if I was out to dinner, I would take a picture, or I weigh out my food. I did all those things and submitted it to ChatGPT and worked with it throughout the day to tell me exactly how many calories I was eating a day. Now, if you want this part of the playbook, again, DM me and I will send you all of my ChatGPT prompts around this as well. But I did it all in one ChatGPT chat. I did my workouts and I did my diet all in one, and it helped me. It was amazing because it was tracking not only my workouts and how much how much calories I was intaking, but it also would give me ideas on like, hey, you have 350 calories left for the day based on what you've eaten before. This is what we recommend your combinations for the next meal should be. It made my life so much easier, and I did not have to pay $400 a month for a trainer. Now let's talk about alcohol. I don't drink anymore, but I have 75 hard to thank for that. So if you're one of those people right now that's the anxiety you're having around this, I really encourage you to push yourself to the limit and try this, because the first time I did 75 hard, I didn't tell anybody this, but main reason in the back of my head that I wanted to do it is I was trying to figure out, can I go 75 days without drinking? And once I realized that I can do that, I ended up not drinking anymore for the rest of my life. Now I'm 2 years sober because of that experience. And here's the thing, nothing has leveled me up more than giving up drinking. I have more energy, more focus, but guess what? When you're on 75 hard, your brain space is taken up by, what do I have to do next? Do I have enough water? Am I staying on my diet? What's my next workout? You stop thinking about what's the next drink I'm going to drink. And you realize that there is life beyond alcohol. Now, this is not a lecture, but I'll also tell you this. Most people were really cool with me when I was at a business function or whatever, and they said, hey, would you like a drink? And I would say, no, I'm on 75 hard. I can't drink. Everyone was cool. It was an easy way for me to get into social situations and realize that it was okay to not drink. That was half the battle for me. And hopefully it's a half the battle for you as well. All right, so the last couple of sections are going to be just some hacks that I did, right? And things that I think will help you. I travel a lot. So during this 75 hard, I ended up going to Utah twice. I was in California, I was in Texas, and I went to Las Vegas, right? So all those times I had to make sure that I still maintained my workouts, that I was eating on point, and that I was reading 10 pages a day, right? So all those things become a lot harder when you're getting on planes and your whole day is disrupted and your routines are disrupted. So I'm going to give you the playbook that I used to help you stay on track while you're traveling. Okay, the first one is you want to book your flights midday, and here's why. If you could book your flights midday, then the first thing you do is do your workout in the morning, get to the airport. As soon as you land, wherever you're landing, if you can plan out your day this way, do your 45-minute walk out the gates or your 45-minute outdoor workout as fast as you can. If not, do it at night. But like sometimes if you're in a climate where it becomes harder or in a sketchy part of town, it's really hard to get that out. So you want to get that out of the way early versus later. All right, here's another hack that you got to remember when you're traveling. When you're packing, the first thing you want to do is pack for your workout. So if I'm packing for 3 days, I'm saying, okay, I got a morning workout, a nighttime workout for 3 days, right? So that's 6 outfits that I need to get in the bag immediately. And the first thing I pack are my shoes. There is nothing worse than being on 75 hard, getting to your hotel, opening your bag, and realizing you don't have your workout shoes. Plan and pack your workout outfits immediately first, and then your business outfits. Now, here's the last one, and this is the most important one as well, is you want to look at if you know where you're going to eat or you have the ability to choose where you're going to eat, look at the menus before you go to that restaurant. What I do is I look at the menu, I know what I'm going to eat before I go in there, because by the time I get there, if I smell that food, I'm sitting around a table, everybody's looking at the menu, ordering all this amazing food, I tend to slip when that happens. So instead, I don't even look at the menu. I just know exactly what I'm going to get. I'll order the steak, with mixed veggies and some rice, right? And I just tell them up front what I want. That way I can take a picture of it, and then I just send it into ChatGPT, and it could break down what my macros are going to be. And that way I can build the rest of my day's diet around that meal. And if you don't plan, the chances of you failing skyrocket. Traveling is hard on 75 hard. And this is why I'm telling you this, because this will make it a lot easier. So make sure, plan your workouts, pack effectively, and look at the menus before you go. And I think your whole process will be a lot better when you're traveling. I tell you all that because here's the truth. This program will change your life. It's also going to change the way you look. It's going to change the way you feel, but more importantly, it's going to change the way you feel about yourself. Your clothes are going to fit better. You're going to have a lot more energy. The brain fog is going to dissipate. You're going to have focus like you've never had before. And go back to the thumbnail of this video or go to my Instagram and look at my highlight reel, and you'll see the journey that I've been on, and you'll be able to see the before and after pictures as well. Now, you may say to yourself, I didn't see that big of a transformation in this guy, and that's okay, because I'll tell you the transformation wasn't necessarily about a physical transformation. It was a transformation in my mind, and more so enough for me to do it 4 times and get me back on a path for discipline. And that's what you should look at it for you. Don't look at it as an opportunity to change the way you look. Let that be the result and the icing on the cake for how good you feel about yourself. And if you're listening to this, all I ask is that you do 2 things. First, if you're ready to commit, start today. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for New Year's. Don't wait for the next, get past this next, 3-day weekend. Just start today. The second thing is, if this was at all beneficial to you, follow me on Instagram. If you want my ChatGPT prompts, just DM me the word 75 hard, and I'll make sure that you get all the prompts that I use to help me get through this challenge successfully. And lastly, I love meeting new people, so just DM me. If you get stuck on something or ChatGPT is not working the way that I explained, hit me up, because there are some times that you got to rearrange a few things to make it work for you, but I'm here to help you. I just love to help people get into a program that's going to change your life, and I want to inspire you to do the same. So if you found this podcast and it resonated with you, shoot me a DM. I love to hear from you. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.